So, like a lot of us, grew up having, corned beef and cabbage and so on, and the, with the rise in, I guess, that American style of cooking and, being able to create that New York style Reuben and be able to make pastrami, it created this pastrami rub to be able to turn any standard corned beef into pastrami.
Standard corned beef, I don't think that's standard corned beef.
No, but any standard corned beef. But the reason why I use Billy's is a couple of things. So you can technically do it with any corned beef, but this is why you should be doing it with Billy's, is that he produces a Wagyu silver side, and you can actually see, you've got that beautiful marbling all the way through it. So when you slow cook that, all that fat's going to melt down and just create a really, really nice moist product. And the other reason I love using it is, if you're using, I guess, a more commercial store-bought, it's very, very salty brine, and you need to soak it overnight at the least to try and leach out that salt. With Billy's, because he doesn't use anywhere near that kind of salt level in his brine, all it needs is a really quick rinse off and, just rinse away that brine and then pat it dry and you're good to go. So the first step would be to obviously get it out of the wrap.
Right. Scissors. Oh, that marbling is stunning. Look at it.
Yeah, amazing. So, and then all we want to do...
Lots of flavour. Plenty of flavour.
Fat is, in the words of Billy, fat is flavour. So all we want to do is just get that, give that a really good rinse underwater, and then pat him dry.
All right.
So you just want to get rid of any of that sort of brine that's going on here. Yep.
Do you also leave on any of this?
Yeah, so what we want to do is there's sort of a soft, anything that's sort of soft jelly fat you want to remove.
Yep.
If there's a hard fat cap, you can leave that on, but anything that's sort of soft and jelly like, you want to
like that bit there. Get rid of that.
Yeah. And if you can, like you can see, there's a little bit of membrane underneath that fat cap, so that'll actually so if you get under that membrane and get that back to raw meat.
Yep.
And again,
because that'd make it, it would toughen it up a bit, wouldn't it? As it
toughens up, but also doesn't take on the rub as well. So, yeah. So just get a nice little pat. And as I say, like using, I guess, a lesser corned beef, you want as much fat on as you can, but because you've got that beautiful intramuscular fat, it doesn't matter if you remove right down to the meat on that side there. So traditionally, pastrami is smoked and then steamed to finish. Obviously, while that's great and you get great results, a lot of people, don't have smokers. So what I've done with this rub is I've used smoked elements in the spices. So you can still do it in your oven at home and still get that really nice flavor through it. And I think that's what we're doing today. To
make it nice and easy for us as well.
Very easy. Very easy to just do it at home. Doesn't take forever. So, and you get nice consistent temps as well. So all we want to do is give this a good shake. And then we want a nice liberal coating over the...
Now I'm left-handed, so maybe I should try and do it right-handed for you.
There is a shaker thingy on
there. Oh, that
helps.
Yeah. There we go. I'm glad I've not taught you to help me.
All right, do you want me to do it because I'm right-handed? Is that...
Would that be okay? You can do it, yeah.
All right, so you can help me. So you
Teamwork.
just want a nice liberal coating.
Yep, lovely.
Yep.
These little mustard seeds in here, is that what they are?
Seeds,
fantastic. Yep. They just give the best flavour, don't they, to any kind of meat, particularly corned beef.
So traditional pastrami, you're working on a base of pepper and coriander powder, and then obviously you can go from there. So there's about 9 ingredients going on in here. A few little secrets.
I was going to say, do you have is there Todd's secret ingredient in there?
There is absolutely a secret ingredient in every rub I do. So.
And you're not going to let us know when the, tens of thousands of people that are going to watch this video?
The secret ingredient is always love. So.
And fly by the look of it.
Yeah, so we just want to give that a really nice coating on all sides. Got this bad guy over here in the end. Yep. So nice coating. And then what we want to do is we want the rub to set. So what will happen is the moisture that's in the meat, you can already see it happening already, will come through and just sort of dampen that rub. And when that's fully damp, that's when you know it's good to go.
Right, and so that helps the rub stick
It'll actually
bind onto the meat.
It'll actually bind onto the product.
Yeah, you can see just here already that it is, the spices are becoming damp and sticking on.
So once that's done, you are good to go in the oven. And as I say, in the oven, we want it around about 140 degrees. And for a piece that's around about 1.5 to 2 kilos, you can expect it to take around about, I guess, 4 to 5 hours. And what we're looking for is an internal temperature of about 85 degrees Celsius.
You're right, okay.
So with a lot of low and slow, it generally goes a little bit further in terms of temp. The reason I like to stop this at 85 degrees is it allows you to get really nice thin slices, which is what you want when you're doing a Reuben.
Yep, perfect.
10 minutes, you can see the rub's nicely set on it. So the next step is, we've preheated our oven to 140. We just want to sit that on a rack. So when we're going in the smoker, it'll always sit on a rack, and we want to try and get that bark all the way around. So we're looking to try and recreate that in your oven. So yeah, just on a rack on a tray, and away we go.
Here's one I have prepared for you
There we
earlier.
go. Beautiful. All right.
There we go.
Lovely. And in it goes. And as I say, we're looking to, it'll take around about 4 or 5 hours, but really what we're looking for is to be around 85 degrees internal. To be able to be sure, you can pick up a nice little digital thermometer that'll allow you to be able to probe and check where it's at. And as I say, like, you can pick these up anywhere. This one's obviously from Meet at Billy's, the Fire Slap brand. And yeah, all you need.
And it means no mistakes.
No mistakes.
No
It gets you
mistakes.
exactly.
Yeah.
It is. It's I highly recommend investing in a thermometer for cooking meat. It makes it perfect every time. All right, so Mr. Pastrami's in the oven cooking away. So we're going to make up our Russian dressing. So a Russian dressing, I guess, is kind of like a Thousand Island. However, there's a few key ingredients that convert it into that Russian, and that is some hot sauce, and the most important one for me is horseradish. So I guess we'll start off, and with these ingredients, we're going to have a little bit of a recipe there for you to have a look at, but really this is, to your own taste. You play around, you'll find what works for you.
So you might like a little bit more horseradish or a little bit less.
Exactly.
A bit creamier,
Yeah.
a bit more,
Bit spicier.
more vinegary.
Yep, absolutely. So,
Alright.
all right, so we're going to kick off with about 1/2 cup of mayo. And then we've got around about 1/4 cup of ketchup.
This is just normal
Just-
tomato ketchup.
Just everyday tomato
Yep.
ketchup. And then
So many varieties that you can
yeah,
get. these
exactly,
days.
exactly. So, and again, you can, whatever works for you. So we want to give that a good, nice little mix around. All right, so we want around about a tablespoon of horseradish. I don't mind a little bit of heat. So this has got that nice little kick that horseradish oil that gives. So we want to get that through. Oh, that's looking
And
good.
it's that kind of wasabi heat is what you
Yeah,
get.
yeah, it's through
isn't
the
it?
nose.
Through
Yeah, it's through
that's
the
right.
bridge of the nose. So,
Yeah.
and again, while the sauce can have a nice little kick, remember when we're making a Reuben, we've got pastrami, cheese, we've got pickles and sauerkraut, and all that balances out through the acidity. So don't worry if that's got a big kick in the pants, because you're not obviously eating
Just
with a
eating
spoon.
it by the spoon.
Or maybe you
Although
are.
you could, yeah, I would.
All right, and then we've got some hot sauce. So today we're using just some Frank's Red Hot, but essentially any hot sauce, nothing with too strong a flavour. So we're just looking for a bit of acidity and a bit of heat. Obviously, if it's a really flavourful hot sauce, then it's going to start impacting the flavour.
And this
So-
is a similar style hot sauce that you might get, say, Tabasco, those
Exactly.
kind of vinegar chili
Exactly.
sauces.
You
isn't it?
could even use the sriracha if you've got
Sriracha.
that cruising around. So, all right. So again, as much or as little as you like. You'll have a taste in a minute and decide whether it's for you.
Yeah, it sounds great.
All right. Here's a nice little secret ingredient I like to use. So just a little dash of Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire sauce is
Aged Worcestershire.
Aged Worcestershire.
aged Worcestershire. Worcestershire is always the secret ingredient to
Oh,
most
it's
sauce.
a huge booster in beef and all sorts. So love using it. Go through about a bottle a week at my house. Do we have
Another teaspoon.
Sorry.
Just watch your leg there.
It's alright.
And then we've just got some paprika. So just around about a 1/4 teaspoon there. It just gives a nice sort of colour and flavour.
And that's the sweet paprika that you have there, isn't it?
Yeah, but again, smoked paprika
Smoke's
will do.
fine.
Yep,
Yep.
absolutely. Get that nice smell through there.
Yeah, I can.
All right, so just add a nice little bit of colour. And then we just want a little bit of salt to taste. That should do, maybe a touch more. There we go. And that's in.
All right, should we have a
So
little
you can-
taste?
yeah, it's all over to you. See what you think.
Okay. Let's go. See how spicy it is or not. actually doesn't have too much heat at all. Oh no,
No.
it's starting to build a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
So get that
That's
horseradish
good.
finish.
Yeah,
And
you
again,
do.
you can pump it with some more hot sauce if you want to get some real nice little heat kick on the tongue.
But you still want to be able to taste the beautiful
Exactly.
pastrami and the sauerkraut and everything anyway. You don't want it to be too spicy, do
Exactly.
you?
Russian dressing done. The next step is just to prep some pickles. So just a really nice vinegar dill pickle. I actually like to cut them into slices. So we just want to get some nice thin slices.
You could use a mandolin for this if you want
If you
to
really
as well.
want to, yeah. So, yeah, and again, just nice and thin. You don't want, so when you're sort of putting it all together, you don't want any one sort of flavour to overpower everything else. So just some pickles there, that'll probably do for one sandwich. And then that's done. Okay, so because we're making Reubens for this, we've to be able to get nice thin slices, we've rested it, wrapped it and rested it, and we've actually had it in the fridge overnight. And what that does, it firms it up and allows you to get those really nice thin slices that you want for Reubens. Obviously, if you're doing something else with it, feel free to just start eating it hot. I actually find this really hard to do this step, which is leave it. I just want to eat it.
Without
So,
picking bits of it off and
well, you have to
chewing on
make
it,
sure
yeah.
it's not poisoned.
Well,
So,
you do.
know, these are the things that we do. All right, so we'll grab. Should we try?
Yeah.
You feeling good? All right.
See how it goes.
Okay, no worries. So, I'm just gonna cut some slices.
I don't know how it goes.
So cut a little bit off. Yeah. So we just got that fat cap on there. Just want as thin as we can.
And so why do you want the nice thin slices, Todd?
Well, when you're making a Reuben, you don't want a nice big slab of meat. You just want to create layers, so really nice thin layers. So you can see that beautiful marbling through it from having the Wagyu corn silver side. So now that that's chilled, you can see the marbling again.
And when we cook that in the sandwich,
That'll
that
just
fat will
beautifully
be
melt
softened
and become
down.
moisture
Yeah,
through it, yeah.
exactly.
But why is it? Why do you want the nice thin slices?
As I say, it just makes for better eating. So rather than a slab, so what you end up with is you get a nice thin slice, and you can see that it holds its form. But if you give it a little tug, it just pulls apart nice and easy.
And is that also part of the trick of the way you've cut it too, from you cutting it across the grain?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So across the grain, yeah. So obviously the grain of this meat's running down like that.
Maybe-
So by running across the grain, it just allows it to
Pulls it
pull
apart.
apart
Yeah.
really,
Just
really
turn
easily.
the meat around to the camera so we can see what it looks like when you're cutting across the grain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can see the grain, it's obviously run this way and cutting across it.
Yeah. So it just allows for a nice tender eat, and it just for me, making those layers just creates a nice makes for better eating. So we've got our nice thin slices of pastrami.
I've
and
tasted it, it's very good.
Oh, thank you, thank you. So, and now it's time to start building. So what we really want with a Reuben sandwich is a really good rye. So today we've got some from Brasserie Bread, and I love this one because it's a it's a 26-year-old sourdough culture, single origin wheat, single origin rye, and one of the best things about it, it's not a really heavy dark rye, which makes for a better eating sandwich. So we want to hit to the middle here, so you get some nice good slices. So you can see it's still a nice sort of soft rye.
Yeah.
And if you give it a smell, you've got that nice sourdough flavour through
Yeah,
it.
that's the thing. You want some of that really nice, authentic sourdough flavour
Absolutely.
that you get, don't you?
Absolutely.
But you're right, it is. It's lovely and soft and spongy.
So we'll pop him over there.
You don't want to break a tooth trying to eat the rye.
No, exactly. And again, like everything else, you want a nice balance of flavours. So we just want to put a little bit of butter on that. So I find that just...
What's
gives
your
it-
little bit of butter? Is your little bit of butter
No,
the same as my little bit of butter?
actually, so with all other things, a little bit of butter is a lot, but in this case, we just want a really thin coating.
Okay.
So all that's going to do is just help create a caramelisation. So that's going to be the outside.
Oh, this is for the outside.
That's for the
right,
outside. So we're just going to create a nice caramelisation when we're cooking it.
There we go.
There we go.
Turn those over.
Yeah, well, we can just pop them on. Yeah. All right. So, and then we're going to start off with some Swiss cheese.
And this is very much got certain things
For me
Yep.
personally, yeah. And I like to use double cheese, and the reason I like to do that is cheese.
So as in double cheese, as in like
As in,
two
we're
slices?
gonna put cheese on bottom and the top.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
One
and
or
two slices.
Two slices at a time?
Yeah, so just spread them out a little bit. Just it's okay to get some overhang because
Yep.
when we cook that, that'll create some nice little, nice little appeal. And then we want to start stacking up some pastrami. So
How many slices would you go?
Oh, look, I'm the wrong guy to ask because I put 100. So, yeah, so the idea is we want to try and start getting...
What's the perfect,
Yeah, so it's
perfect
nice
way
if we're...
to stack? I could feel
right.
that he was like,
All
I
right,
need
so
to
we
get
want
into
to start...
it.
Yeah, and it's okay to start sort of layering just over... Yep. And then we'll start again and go back around.
Okay.
And we might go one more because...
One more layer?
Because pastrami. So,
Yes, because.
Yeah, so that's looking lovely. Yep. Says the cook. Yeah, it's not quite right.
There we go.
Oh, look at that. We've got some nice overhang,
Perfect.
so we've got some beautiful layers. All right, so the next step for me is putting some kraut on there.
Do you have the...
Oh, just
About that
it's
much?
just a finish thing.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, so we just spread him out.
Spread it out.
Spread around. That's about right. So, yeah, the kraut's always really compressed in the jar, so you just want to spread him out.
Now, there's all sorts of different krauts that you get at the moment.
Certainly can.
Yeah, so what's this one and why do we have to use this type of one?
Okay, so I just like this one because it's a traditional kraut in that it's just pure cabbage and salt. So yeah, obviously there's a lot of sort of fermented ones, a lot of sort of stuff. This is completely natural ferment, just cabbage and salt. I think it's 99% cabbage, 1% salt, just to get the fermentation. And I find that it gives the right result. But again, whatever you're into is
Personal
fine.
preference.
So yeah, so that's a good amount. And then we're gonna spoon some Russian dressing over there. We're gonna put him onto the
top,
kraut, yep. And just sort of, what'll happen is, you just sort of get it towards the center. So what'll happen is when you toast it, it'll just sort of loosen and spread out to the edges.
It's science.
Oh, look at that.
Is that enough?
That's perfect.
It is, it's
That's
science,
absolutely
isn't it?
perfect. And then we've got our nice thin layers of pickles, so we're just gonna nicely arrange those. By cutting it thin, it allows you to put a nice layer across it and not have it all pickly. So every bite's going to have some pickle. That's what we're looking for.
I was always one of those kids that never took the pickle off the McDonald's burgers.
Oh, yeah.
Never. I know I gathered up everybody else's pickles
Can
and
never
ate them.
understand it. Yeah, absolutely. No. So anything acidic, I used to just absolutely plow through when I was a kid. So, all right. So we've got him, and then we're going to go again with the cheese. Back on with some more cheese.
Again. Wow, I love it. Okay.
Oh, and they're just looking amazing. All right, and then we're gonna, that's it, top layer on.
None more of this, or
No,
just
that
no?
is
That's
it. That's your full layer,
Excellent.
and we are done. Okay, so we're ready to grill our sandwiches. So a couple of different ways of doing this. You can just use a sandwich press if you like. So today we're gonna go in with the pan, with this beautiful pan. It's gonna get a really nice caramelization.
There we go. A little bit of a sizzle there, because you don't want it to cook the bread too quickly.
I actually, exactly. You want to take the opportunity to heat what's through it. So I think what we'll do is we'll pop the lid on as well, and that'll allow it to sort of heat through.
You get the cheese all nice and melted and drippy. And
Yes, all of those things, all of those things. And it's okay. So the pastrami, because it's on that base, that'll make that nice and warm. And then obviously with the kraut and pickles, it's okay if they're a bit cool because it just creates that contrast between hot and cold when you're eating it as well.
Okay, and how long will this take, or how long will you leave the lid on for now?
Oh yeah, I'll just give it a couple of minutes
Yeah.
and just see how it's it's okay to have a little peek.
Okay.
Just a slight angle. Oh, Alana, I'm so happy with that. Look at that.
Turn it around for the camera, Todd.
There we go. Get that nice crisp.